Good evening, everybody. Let me work on my little sound here for a second. I hope everybody's doing good tonight. We went through Darrell's sovereign citizenship on the last video, but that's not it's not a one-time thing. That's going to be a pretty big subject throughout all of these court cases all the way to the end. That's just something you have to know up front. Even if you haven't seen this case, um, sovereign citizenship will be played out through the whole court. Um, from the day I brought it up on my live till the end of the court case. That's just how it is. But you need to understand, Darrell Brooks never lived the life of a sovereign citizen prior to this court case. Probably didn't even know what it was. I'm thinking a smart guy in jail told him about it because you've never seen it anywhere in his life. And this is not the first time he's ever been before a judge either. So, we're gonna just start out right away about dealing with his preliminary hearing that will lead to his trial. But there is, a whole preliminary series that we have to go through first, and that's going to be started right now tonight with us taking on the courtroom, so that we can get to the trial. This is another part that most people skip through when this was on live, just like they skipped over sovereign citizenship. But we're going to cover all of it because we need to, cover his behavior, not just one thing, one little snippet, one snippet over here. Talk about the young lady that, he run over. It's a whole thing that matters. So let's get on into the courtroom here. This is his pre-trial preliminary hearing, and it goes on. Well, it's gonna get a little testy, to say the least. Now, you do know in the last video, he had asked for to sorry to represent himself, and I understood that because I already saw from the last time they were in court, him and his lawyers, they were making a claim that he just didn't have the time, that he had other cases that came before, and he asked the judge to release he asked the judge to release him, and she didn't. She told him to find a way to make it work. So, this right here claiming, he wants to take sovereign citizen and represent himself. I'm not really surprised at it though, because I'm pretty sure he did not take that lawyer very well, and the attitude the lawyer had and not wanting to represent him. I think he had oh shit, I could do this all by myself because he's that cocky. But when you're sitting next to the guy that's supposed to be, looking out for you, if there is anybody, it has to be this guy, right? And he ain't looking out for you. Well, I think I'd take my chances too, with my own self. But let's get started with this video. Oop, Lord, I can't see. There we go. Wow, right out the gate. Darrell is. His face said it all. Why this lawyer, he's sitting there talking to him. Darrell's just not having it. His face says it. And that's what we're doing, looking for different clues, not only just to what he says, but also, how this goes on. Wow. It almost looks like he's trying to talk Darrell out of something, or I don't really know here because he didn't want to represent him anyway, and Darrell asked for uh, sovereign citizenship, said he was going to represent himself, or he's just now going to tell him, but the lawyer knows. And either he's trying to tell him how to say it the right way, or look at there. That lawyer has his hands over the microphone. Huh.
All right.
That's interesting.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated.
Why does he have his hand over the microphone? What doesn't he want us to hear? Now I'm talking about the lawyer
Call
now.
State of Wisconsin versus Darrell Brooks, case number 21 CF 1848. May I have the appearances, please?
Wow.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Sue Epper, Leslie Daisy, and Zach Witchell appearing for the state of Wisconsin.
Darrell Brooks appears in person with his attorneys, Anna Keys and Jeremy Perry. Good afternoon.
All right, good afternoon, everyone.
Object to that.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I'm here representing myself pro per.
All right, thank you, sir. Then we are here so that I can.
hold on. We already started. We ain't 2 seconds into the court case, and I think that little secret conversation his lawyer was having with him, uh, he just got blindsided, because they, introduced themselves as something, and Darrell just had blocked that and introduced himself for himself, even though the lawyers were introduced already. So we just going to get right out the gate here, Darrell. Darrell's just going to get started with, I'm representing myself. So let the games begin.
Once again, address the motion to withdraw that was filed by the defense attorneys in this case late last week. I did receive this morning a filing from the defense. It includes the waiver of right to attorney form that appears to have been signed by Mr. Brooks. I want to start with the defense team, because it's still a team right now, Attorney Terry, and I want to get some information from you for the record. So if you could please tell me how many times that you have met with Mr. Brooks since you've been appointed? I'm looking for you to quantify that for me if you can.
I need a moment.
Sure.
She's writing down the time that they have spent with Mr. Brooks, I guess, so the judge can maybe evaluate if they spent enough time with him or not. Not that that really matters. Uh, to me, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying, last time we were in court, they basically, the guy in the gray suit, I don't know his name, don't care about his name. Uh, he threw Darrell under the carpet and didn't want to just wanted to push his court back to July or something, August of the next year.
Can I ask a question while they're reviewing that? Is the live stream on?
Yes.
Okay, the monitors aren't on?
Not at the moment.
Thank you.
I can confirm with them.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And the judge wouldn't let that happen.
Do you want the monitors on so you can see?
And then
Possible, yeah. A little easier for us to review. Mr.
they
Brooks.
got they're just, these ladies are just yah-yahing about the monitors. They always got some kind of technical issue.
A small box, I don't know if there's anything you think about that.
But yeah, they pretty much just parted ways last time they were in court. And I don't blame Darrell for that, because that guy in the middle,
While they're looking through their notes, if you would confirm that you've complied with victim rights.
Yes, thank you, we have.
Thank you.
wow.
Thank you, Your Honor. We can say we've met with him at least 25 times.
Thank you. In your meetings with him, have you reviewed the charges that he faces and the penalties and exposure?
Yes.
Have you discussed with him the nature of the charges?
Yes.
Have you provided Mr. Brooks with any of the pleadings that have been filed in this case?
Yes.
Anything that you have not provided him, perhaps by maybe not the jury questionnaires, for example, but would he have gotten all of the other pleadings in this case? Anything that's not confidential?
Everything has been communicated with him. Not everything has been printed and delivered.
Thank you. What about discovery in this case? I know, I'm told, I haven't obviously not seen it all myself, but I'm told it's quite voluminous and that it includes not only paper discovery, meaning printouts of police reports or photographs, but there's a large amount of electronic discovery. Is that all true?
Yeah, that's all true.
Has he been provided with copies of the paper discovery?
Yes.
How have you reviewed with him the electronic discovery?
At a meeting at the jail on our computer in terms of reviewing videos. Not all electronic discovery has been reviewed. There's lots of audio files, but I should say reviewed with Mr. Brooks at the jail.
Thank you. Have you communicated with Mr. Brooks during the course of your representation in writing, either you to him or him to you? I'm not looking for you to divulge any, privileged information, just generally, how have you communicated with him?
There have been some times in writing.
Has he written to you at all?
Yes.
Why did he look over there at him? That's interesting. I still think this lawyer has a real big chip on his shoulder. The lady looked up when, these things, hold on. I'm going to back this up a hair. And let's play it from right here.
May I ask a
So,
question while they're reviewing that? Is the live stream on?
Yes.
Okay.
oh, went a little too
Monitors.
far.
Had a meeting at the jail on our computer in terms of reviewing videos. Not all electronic discovery has been reviewed. There's lots of audio files. But
First, he says yes, he's given all the files to him. Then he says, well, not all of them
Thank
because
you.
they're in audio.
Have you communicated with Mr. Brooks during the course of your representation in writing, either you to him or him to you? I'm not looking for you to divulge any, privileged information, just generally, how have you communicated with him?
there have been sometimes in writing.
Has he written
Sometimes
to you
in
at all?
writing. I don't understand why he's looking at him.
Yes.
Okay. And that lady writing,
Have you
I
had any
just find
concern
her
with his
interesting.
ability to communicate with you either?
Your Honor, may I ask a question while they're reviewing that? Is the live stream on?
Yes.
Okay. The monitors aren't on?
Not at the moment.
Thank you.
I can confirm with them.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Do you want the monitors on so you can
If
see?
possible, yeah, it's a little easier for us to view Mr. Brooks then.
Let me know when you have that.
Yes, it's up. It's a small box. I don't know if there's anything you can do about that. But
Not sure that I can.
okay.
While they're looking through their notes, if you would confirm that you've complied with victim rights.
Yes, thank you. We have.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. We can say we've met with him at least 25 times.
Thank you. In your meetings with him, have you reviewed the charges that he faces and the penalties and exposure?
Yes.
Have you discussed with him the nature of the charges?
Yes.
Have you provided Mr. Brooks with any of the pleadings that have been filed in this case?
Yes.
Anything that you have not provided him, perhaps by maybe not the jury questionnaires, for example, but would he have gotten all of the other pleadings in this case? Anything that's not confidential?
Everything has been communicated with him. Not everything has been printed and delivered.
Thank you. What about discovery in this case? I'm told, I haven't obviously not seen it all myself, but I'm told it's quite voluminous and that it includes not only paper discovery, meaning printouts of police reports or photographs, but there's a large amount of electronic discovery. Is that all true?
Yeah, that's all true.
Has he been provided with copies of the paper discovery?
Yes.
How have you reviewed with him the electronic discovery?
Had a meeting at the jail on our computer in terms of reviewing videos. Not all electronic discovery has been reviewed. There's lots of audio files, but I should say reviewed with Mr. Brooks at the jail.
Thank you. Have you communicated with Mr. Brooks during the course of your representation in writing, either you to him or him to you? I'm not looking for you to divulge any, privileged information, just generally, how have you communicated with him?
There have been some times in writing.
Has he written to you at all?
Yes,
Have you had any concerns with his ability to communicate with you either orally or in writing at any point in time during your representation?
I want to answer the court directly, but I'd like to answer this way, is that, and maybe this is not what you're asking, but we are very aware of our obligations in terms of raising any concerns, if there were, about competency or the ability to communicate. And
I'm not looking
you're
for
not-
that.
you're not
No, I'm
inquiring
looking
about
more for your assessment of his literacy and his ability just generally to communicate with you in the English language.
that. Yeah, we've not had any problem communicating with Mr. Brooks.
Thank you. It's my understanding that he provided to you or to Attorney Keys the waiver of right to attorney form that he filed with the court this morning. Is that true?
That was delivered to us via by jail staff this morning.
Thank you. I know that you also filed a case and really a summary of that case with the court. Is there anything you want to put on the record at this hearing regarding that filing?
Only that I think from some of the comments of Mr. Brooks, and I say this with the understanding that, you know, we view him, of course, our motion to withdraw has not been granted. We are still representing him. And it is our clear understanding that it is Mr. Brooks's desire and objective to represent himself in this matter. There were some things at yesterday's hearing that I think maybe seemed inconsistent with.
Oh, here he goes again. He's putting it on Mr. Brooks that Mr. Brooks wants to represent himself, and he does. Of course, he does now that you appear to be bailing on him at the last time y'all were in court, and you still have the same demeanor. I would not want this guy to be my lawyer at all. He won't even look at the judge. He's very disrespectful. I guess he's trying to be laid back, but he really just acts like he gives me the feeling of I don't care and I don't want to be here.
That in terms of colloquy with him and some things that perhaps appeared inconsistent on his written waiver of attorney form. We provided that case law in that context of United States v. Banks with the exchange that has some real similarities to the exchange that happened in court yesterday, where, and this is, you know, if there's a distinction being made in the sense of what part of the Sixth Amendment does Mr. Brooks wish to waive in terms of how he sees himself as appearing in this case as a special appearance, pro per, as he has said, that the context of that with his really quite clear statements throughout yesterday's hearing of where I think he said multiple times that his wish is to represent himself in this matter. We provided that to try and place some of the sovereign citizen language in context where it is maybe not as inconsistent as it may first seem, to support what Mr. Brooks is saying he wants, and that is to represent himself in this matter.
What I hear you saying is that certainly prior to yesterday's hearing, Mr. Brooks made it very clear to you he wants to represent himself.
That's right. That's why we filed the motion to withdraw.
Has he done or said anything to you that would cause you to change your assessment of his desire?
No.
Glad we got that out. I think he understands it now. But something, I'm just sitting here noticing too, you know, Darrell Brooks is getting rid of these two lawyers. And really, I just think he doesn't care for the guy. But I guess they're a package deal, so okay. But on the other side, on the prosecution side, we have one, two, three, four, five lawyers, sub lawyers, all lawyers on that side, and on Darrell's side, we have two people that don't want to be there. I'm not saying what Darrell did is right, but he deserves a fair trial. And this doesn't look very fair. 5 against 1. Even if the lawyer and that lady stayed, it's still 5 against 1. Well, 6 with the judge. But that's okay. Another reason why the man and the lady are going to end up leaving. Darrell made his choice. We're going to live with that. I just don't care for the unequal, fair, basis of it. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Well, let's carry on with this.
Thank you.
There is one additional thing from yesterday's hearing that I think I should add to the record.
Go ahead.
There was a lot of back and forth with Mr. Brooks, and it's been reported on in terms of his, and even the way he filled out that form where he crossed off the word understand. And I think on the form he wrote, "I'm informed that." And yesterday in the hearing, repeatedly clarified when asked if he understood things, said I'm aware of. In rereading Ferretta and Imani v. Pollard and the case law on this, it actually requires, that the case law requires, and maybe this is all just semantics, but the language in the case law requires that the defendant be made aware of the charges and the penalties and the risks and disadvantages of proceeding by representing himself. And so I just thought I should mention that to the court in terms of what the language of what the case law actually requires is.
Thank you. I would not disagree with your assessment of Ferretta and Imani. Of course, we have a form in Wisconsin that has been approved by the State Forms Committee of the Director of State Courts Office and Court Ops. And there is some specific verbiage that is on there, which in the vast majority of cases, I think, satisfies the parties. But I clearly understand what you're saying, and I don't disagree, but I do thank you for bringing that to my attention. Mr. Brooks, I do have in front of me a waiver of right to attorney form that was electronically filed into the case today. I'm going to pull it up. Can you acknowledge, sir, that it is before you on the screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
I don't want to make any assumptions, sir, about who filled out this form and how it got to me. So I'd like to ask a few questions about it. I, of course, gave you this form at the end of yesterday's hearing. Hold on a second, that's the live stream, it's the feedback we get because I'm displaying my computer, so give me a second. I'll do it a different way.
Your Honor, I have his original copy that I could place in front of him.
Should also be on the share screen. Are you able to see it in front of you as well, or no?
Not at the moment.
I did a test with this yesterday to see if I shared my screen, how it would come up on the live stream, and I thought it was working, but that's all right. I'll stop the share screen. Mr. Brooks, if you want to confirm with me that your attorney has put in front of you the original.
Excuse me, say it again.
Sure, could you please confirm that your attorney placed in front of you the original waiver of right to attorney form that you filled out?
Yes, right.
You acknowledge, sir, that I provided this form to you at the end of the hearing yesterday.
Yeah, yeah, me this.
I filled in certain information on this form regarding the caption at the top. That's the part that's typed. You acknowledge that.
Which part are you referring to?
So the very top of the form is a caption where it says State of Wisconsin versus Darrell E. Brooks, and there's typed written information. I'm telling you, I filled that out. You would agree with that.
I didn't see you fill it out.
Sir, when I gave you the form, was that portion of the form filled out with typewritten information?
Yeah,
All right. There's a section further down that says crimes and penalties. Do you see that?
yeah, I see it.
When I gave you this form yesterday, was that section or both of those sections actually filled out with typewritten information?
Yeah,
And that's the information that's on the form in front of you. Is that correct?
yeah.
If you turn to the second page of that document, there's a signature box that has a number of lines. Do you see that?
Yeah,
And there is one line where it says name printed or typed with the name Darrell E. Brooks typed in. Do you see that?
I see it, but that is not the way my name is. I
Sir,
don't acknowledge
do you
that.
acknowledge, just listen to me, sir. Do you acknowledge that when you received the form, that printed name was on it?
I recognize that there is a name printed on it. That is not mine.
Sir,
Here we go. It's already. He's not gonna let this go, and I don't know why no one wants to take it seriously. There are a lot of sovereign citizens, within the United States. So it's not like something we've never heard of. I understand that he is just calling himself a sovereign citizen because he's in trouble. Okay. Or maybe he had a grand awakening. I don't know. But he is claiming sovereign citizenship. Um, and mainly the biggest thing is he keeps bringing it up is when they call him by his mother given name, Darrell Brooks. No one ever asked him. I've never heard them ask him the whole time, what would he like to be called? That would have been really simple at some point to say, hey, I understand you're saying Darrell Brooks is not your name. What do you want me? What am I supposed to call you? If he's a sovereign citizen, tell him to tell you what you want. What do you want to call them? That would be easy. I didn't think it was gonna start this early, but yes, it is started right now.
The form that you have in front of you, which has a lot of other information on it, did you fill that out?
I filled it out, a certain type of way.
Listen to me, sir. Did you provide the handwritten information on this form?
Yes,
I want to confirm the information that you filled out. My understanding, you are 40 years of age, is that correct?
yep,
It's also my understanding that you completed 11 years of schooling, is that correct?
yep,
You have either a GED or an HSED, is that correct?
yes,
Do you know which one?
the HSCD. I
Thank-
said that yesterday.
Right, I've read in other materials that it was a GED, that's why I'm asking you.
I clarified it yesterday that it was the HSCD.
Thank you. It's also my understanding that you are able to read, write, and use the English language, is that correct?
Yes,
English, as I understand it, is your first and only language, is that true?
yes,
Further, my understanding, sir, that you are not currently receiving treatment for a mental or emotional problem, is that true?
not currently,
Is that true?
not currently.
Did you hear my question?
Yeah, I heard it.
Is it true that you are not currently receiving treatment for a mental or emotional
No.
problem?
No,
It's not true.
say it again.
Is it true that you are not currently receiving treatment for a mental or emotional problem?
Yeah, that's true.
You also have checked that in the past, you have received treatment for mental or emotional problems. Is that true?
Yes,
Further, my understanding, sir, that you have not had any alcohol, medications, or drugs within the last 24 hours. Is that true?
yes,
It's also my understanding, based upon how this form was filled out, that you do not have any physical or psychological disability that may affect your ability to be informed what is happening in court or communicate your position or views on the case to the court. Is that true?
yes,
We talked a little bit about this yesterday. You graduated with an HSED, as we talked about, right?
Yeah.
You've been able to read the various documents that have been provided to you in this case. Is that true?
yeah,
You're able to write. Is that correct?
We better pay attention, ladies and gentlemen, because this is probably the calmest
Let's
we
go down
will
to the
ever
next
see
section, sir,
him.
where it says, I am informed that I have been charged with the following crimes that carry the following penalties. Do you see that section?
yeah,
I want to advise you of the following. I want you to listen to me. You are charged with 6 counts of first-degree intentional homicide, use of a dangerous weapon. Each one of these counts is a Class A felony, punishable by life in prison, plus an additional 5 years for each count. Are you aware of that, sir?
I am informed, yes,
You are also charged with 61 counts of first-degree recklessly endangering safety. This Each one of these offenses is a Class F felony. Imprisonment of not more than 12 and a half years plus 5 years for the enhancer for use of a dangerous weapon for each count if convicted. And you are aware of that, sir.
Yes, I'm informed of that, yes.
There are
Darrell Brooks is far more intelligent than people give him credit for. He he's very calm right now, but it's the words he used to answer her. Um, so he is well aware and far more intelligent than the judge and everybody thinks.
also 6 counts of hit and run resulting in death. These are Class D felonies. Imprisonment of not more than 25 years for each count. And you are aware of that as well.
I am informed, yes. I was under the impression that it was a certain type of way in the wording.
Sir, you are also charged with 2 counts of felony bail jumping. These are Class H felonies. And upon conviction, you may be imprisoned for not more than 6 years for each count. Are you aware of that?
I am informed.
And then there are 2 counts of misdemeanor battery. Those are Class A misdemeanors, and upon conviction, you may be imprisoned for not more than 9 months. Are you aware of that?
I am informed.
Have you been informed, sir, regarding the total exposure if convicted of all counts as charged across these 77 counts?
I am informed, yes.
Are you informed, sir, that as to the intentional homicide charges, use of a dangerous weapon, that if convicted, you could be sentenced to 6 life sentences consecutive to one another?
I'm informed.
Do you understand? Strike that. Are you informed, sir, that you could be sentenced consecutively on each one of the counts?
Well, there you go. She was saying every time she read one, "Do you understand?" Da 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 da. And he said, "I am informed." She'd been saying that. Now she has changed. She changed from saying, "Do you understand?" Yada, yada, yada. And him answering as, "I'm informed," to her saying, "Are you informed that da 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 da?" And him answering, "I am informed." Now it's these little things like that right there. See, to Darrell Brooks, that's an opening. And he can look at her and see that, wow, she changed. It just takes a little thing like that for him to see that how he can play with her. Even though he's not playing with her, he just noticed how she complied to his way without doing a thing.
For which you are convicted.
I'm informed.
For the first-degree reckless endangering safety charges, without even the enhancer, are you informed that the maximum exposure is 762 and a half years?
I'm informed.
Are you informed that when adding the enhancer, it adds an additional 305 years.
I'm informed.
You informed that the hit and run resulting in death charges carry an exposure of 150 years.
I'm informed.
Are you informed that the felony bail jumpings carry an exposure of 12 years?
I'm
Are you informed, sir, that the exposure for the two Class A misdemeanors is 18 months?
I'm informed.
You informed, sir, that all of the charges stem from an incident that is alleged to have occurred on November 21 of 2021 in the city of Waukesha.
I don't see that on the sheet.
Sir, did you hear what I said?
I thought I was following the sheet. That's why I'm looking. at the
Sir,
sheet.
did you hear what I said?
Oh, I did not hear what you said.
Sir, are you informed that all of the charges stemmed from conduct that is alleged to have been committed by you on November 21 of 2021 in the city of Waukesha?
I'm informed.
Are you further informed that all of this conduct primarily relates to what has been referred to as the Waukesha Parade incident?
They worded it as a different way. They call it an attack.
I don't know who they is and I don't frankly care. Listen to my question, sir. Did you hear what I just asked
No,
you?
I'm not informed of that because it's never been referred to.
Sir, I am advising you that your conduct that is spelled out in the second amended criminal complaint, which this court provided you with yesterday, accuses you of committing multiple offenses during the Waukesha Christmas parade. Did you hear me say that?
Yeah, I just heard. Thank you for correcting the language.
The next part of the form, sir, and I will return to it, is entitled, I understand I have the right to. Do you see that?
Mine says I am informed.
Sir, the form, listen to my question. Do you see the section of the form
I'm not
that
really
is
sure
entitled, I understand I have the
why
right
she is being
Mine says I
or
am
acting this
You're not
way
listening.
toward him.
I'll get to that.
Hold on. I had to pause it a second because the judge seems like she's very testy with him. She keeps saying, "You're not listening to what I'm saying," and he's very calm and he's answering, it seems, to the best of his ability. So I really don't understand the judge being kind of snippy with him at this point, because he's not really doing anything to cause that at this point. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't in the future in other cases, but I mean, he kind of got snap a little, like when he said, "No, I don't." That's because, I mean, I think he felt like she was kind of insinuating he was dumb or something like that because he didn't understand and he didn't see where she was talking about. So I just feel she's being a little bit, and you can't bring in how he was throughout the trial with her at this point. You just can't because it hasn't happened yet. But as of right now, right out the gate, she seems to have a little bit of aggression towards him, and I don't know why.
But the form, the state form has a section that is titled, I understand I have the right to. Do you see that?
Yeah, I see it.
All right, you changed the word I understand to I am informed. Is that true?
Yes,
I'm going to advise you of the following. I want you to just listen. Sir, you have the right to have an attorney represent you at all stages of the proceedings. You have the right to have an attorney appointed for you by the state public defender if you do not have the money to hire an attorney. You have the right to hire your own attorney at your own expense. You have the right to ask the court to review a determination by the state public defender that you are not indigent and able to hire your own attorney. You also have the right to ask the court to find you indigent or partially indigent and appoint a court-appointed attorney for you at county expense if you have been found not eligible for a public defender. You also have the right to represent yourself and act as your own attorney. Did you hear me just now, sir? There is a line underneath those advisements that says, check this box if you read and understand the above. On the form that I have, the word understand is changed to am informed of. Is that true?
yes,
The box is checked. Is that also true?
yes,
Did you check this box?
yes,
The next section of this form is titled, I understand an attorney would. However, on the form that I have, the word understand is changed to am informed. Do you see this section of the form, sir?
yep,
Did you change the word understand to am informed?
yes, I did.
I'm going to advise you of the following. I want you to just listen. You are advised that an attorney would represent you and speak on your behalf in court. An attorney would also advise you about your legal rights and options. An attorney would explain and assist you with legal and court procedures. An attorney would help you negotiate a settlement of your case with the district attorney. An attorney would investigate and explore possible defenses to the charges against you that may or may not be readily apparent to you. An attorney would prepare and conduct a defense on your behalf at any motion hearing or trial. An attorney would file motions on issues of evidence, testimony, and procedures of the police. An attorney would assist you at sentencing if you are convicted of any crime. An attorney would also file an appeal if requested. Did you hear me just now, sir?
Yeah, I heard
On the form that I have, there is a line underneath that says, check this box if you have read and understand the above. The word understand has been crossed out and changed to am informed of. Do you see that?
you. Yep,
The box is not checked. Do you see that?
yep,
Was that an oversight?
no, it's a reason.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you just said.
There is a reason.
Do you sir, I advised you of what an attorney would do. Are you informed of what an attorney would do for you?
Yes,
Why did you not check this box?
because it is my understanding that representing myself proper, I can have standby counsel. So that, in a sense, is why that box specifically is not checked.
That is not a correct the law, sir.
Well, it's interesting that he said that. He said that someone told him he could have counsel sit with him at the table, per se, and have them, kind of like you see on TV. They help them with the rules of law and stuff that's in the law books for their case. And I thought they had, you know, the right to have someone of legal background sitting there for them too, as an assistant. Since, come on, they haven't gone to law school. What are you gonna do? Read all the laws in the law books before it gets through court? He doesn't know every law and statute. So I thought that it was perfectly legal to and thought that would be provided as well. Not the lawyers stand up and give the whole case and all that. That'd be the two that are at the table right now that don't want to help him. This lawyer tried to get out of repping him twice now. So I don't feel sorry for him. I wish they would have tried to give him another lawyer before, to calm him down. But he is not being rude. He's not being disrespectful. He really doesn't deserve her unprofessionalism at him. He's not doing anything right now to warrant it. Um, and he knows it too, because he just makes the face underneath that mask like treating him like he's stupid, and I think that just pushes him more to want to defend himself. Let's go.
Standby counsel is not for the benefit of a defendant, it's for the benefit of the court.
Either way, it's still allowed for me to have.
Have you been advised, sir, that the public defender's office is not able to perform standby counsel duties?
No, I have not been advised that.
There is a rule that was promulgated by the Public Defender Board in Wisconsin that prohibits public defenders from acting in the capacity of standby counsel. Did you hear me advise you of that just now?
Yeah, I heard you say it. What is it called?
You referenced standby counsel, sir. I'm advising you that the public defender's office is not able to act in that capacity. Did you hear what I just said?
I heard what you just said, and I asked you a question. Is that somewhere that I can find out about that information? Some type of law or some type of
So now, how does him asking that question make her irritated? And why is the lawyer that he doesn't want sitting there whispering in his ear? I don't feel like what he's asking for is something that can't be done. Um, I understand that the act of what he's done is just heinous, just horrible. But he still deserves a fair trial. And right now, he is not being erratic. He is not being unpolite. He is not doing anything for the judge to be agitated, treating him like a child, treating him like he's stupid, um, just not human. The lawyer that he doesn't want, that doesn't want to be here, is now leaning over to give him a little something advice. dude, you're not his lawyer anymore. Leave him alone.
So it's an admin code.
We're gonna get a bit of feedback, but I'm gonna put it up on my screen, which the parties will be able to see. Sir, can you see what's before you on the screen?
Yep.
This is an administrative code provision, chapter PD5, adversary representation. I direct your attention to PD 5.03, prohibition against acting as standby counsel. Sub 1, no SPD attorney may act as standby counsel in any case. Sub 2, this prohibition applies whether or not the SPD attorney was originally providing adversary representation in this case. You see that, sir?
Yeah, I see it.
I'm going to take that down. This court, sir, you should be advised, would not be appointing attorneys Perry and Keys to represent you or to act, is a better way of saying it, as standby counsel in this case. Did you hear what I said?
Yes, and I didn't ask that. I didn't ask for them.
Not asking if you asked that, sir. I'm giving you advisements right now that you need to listen to. This court would also not appoint standby counsel in this case. Did you hear me say that?
That's fine.
This court is further advising you, sir, that this trial will start next Monday, October 3rd. Did you hear me say that?
I heard you say it, but I object to that. And I object on the grounds that are you making a judicial determination of that when you haven't even decided the issue while we're here?
Sir, I'm further going to advise you that at this late stage in the proceedings, which is frankly beyond the 11th hour, which is what the case law references, we are frankly at 11:58. This court will not appoint any other attorney to act as standby counsel if this court grants your request to represent yourself.
I'm just a little concerned about why the judge is so pissed off at him. I'm sure he is not the only person or the person who made all this be off track with time. I mean, all he can do is sit in the cell and wait for the lawyers to come and talk to him. He has nothing to do with how behind they are. That's the lawyers on both sides' fault. Um, she just has too much attitude for no reason whatsoever. I mean, I know she did. I know she does good later on when he does cause problems, but at this point right here, I'm sorry, uh, Squirrel. I'm sorry, but if this judge, if I had to go to court meeting with this judge, I'd have done had something to say.
Yeah.
Because he's being polite and in control as much as she can, But as many times as she says, "Are you listening? Are you are you listening? Do you understand what the?" I would get mad myself. I'm not a flipping child. I hear you. I understand. I'm informed, but you don't have to talk to me like I'm a child. And I feel like she's talking to him like a child, and he hasn't done, yes, he's committed crimes, but I'm talking about in the courtroom and all the antics that he pulls later. Well, I'm beginning to see why he started doing that, but he wasn't here doing that. And it could be a line of respect, human to human, that got passed off right here. The way she started treating him, it doesn't matter if you do or don't like him. The truth of it is, this is a human being. She's a human being. He's a human being. The people that he ran over were human beings. No, it's not right at all what he did. But these two are both adults. Everyone in here is adults. We're supposed to be better. So I really hope that, well, there ain't no hoping on it. It ain't gonna get better. It ain't gonna get better by him, and it ain't gonna get better by her. All we can do is, this is the pre-trial hearing. There's more to this. I'll be back tomorrow with more than this, and hopefully by the weekend we can get it all done so that we can start the trial. And no, it doesn't get any smoother. But I'm hoping to be able to show y'all where it goes wrong and why and here and there. That's the whole reason I'm looking at this case again. It's not to prove that he's innocent, because he's not. It's to look at the antics played by everybody. To look at it, how it could have gone some different way, some other, the behaviors. The behaviors of them all. Right now that you're looking at on the screen, Jennifer Darrell, Jennifer Darrell is having a real unprofessional, smart ass mouth at somebody. You got 5 freaking uh prosecutioners, and really over here on the left you have Darrell Brooks, who these 2 lawyers have already asked to be let go. So it's just a matter of time that we're covering this, that they're going to get up and leave the court. So then you have 5 versus 1, really 6 with the judge over 1. Let that marinate. So we've been online for an hour and 9 minutes. This is still a good bit of this on this video, but I think it's a good time to I'm gonna stop it in. We'll be back tomorrow. We're not done with this, guys. We got a lot to cover in this pre-trial set. Um, I don't I don't want anybody to think that I'm trying to show compassion for him, because I'm not. I'm just looking at this, how it was done, a different way. A totally different way. That we could have learned something and showed respect to the lives that were lost. Uh, so I'll see y'all tomorrow night. Till then, hold on. Ames. Ames, how are you doing? Let me see this. Ames says they do have the right to stand by counsel. but it will not be paid for by the state. He would have to pay for it himself. That's what I thought. But we know he ain't gonna he can't he ain't got no money. That's why he got public defender. I mean, the defense team. This man's ready to roll out for his other cases because he said that last time he was on stand. I just think he needs a little legal aid or somebody to keep up with him. But that's true, Ames. He has a. I don't see that's my problem. She didn't even tell him you have the right to have standby counsel if you can pay for it. She didn't even say that. She just straight up comes at him with you can't. You can't have standby counsel. They're going to be gone. That's it. She did not even tell him that. And that's what I'm talking about. To just tell him you can have standby counsel, but it's not going to be paid for by the state. You're going to have to pay for it yourself. So if you can work that out, more power to you. But what does she say? You're in here today claiming you want to defend yourself. Well, buddy, let me tell you something. I know you don't know about the law, and you have a lot, they're about to dump all these boxes and stuff on top of you, but it don't matter because I'm not going to give you 3 seconds to learn anything on your own. This court date is going to happen. It's going to happen on time, whether you're ready or not. Now, any time that this thing has been pushed back and behind, it's been caused by the very lawyer who does not want to represent him. He has pushed the time too far back. Pushed it and pushed it because he was doing other things. That girl just said, that lady lawyer just said on the prosecution, on the defendant side, that they spent a total of 25.5 hours. That ain't shit. He's probably close to representing, like, he probably chose to represent himself based off how the lawyer he already has is acting, waiting to bail on him. And he may have thought that it was better to represent himself over counsel. That's exactly what I think. I agree with you 100%. Last time in court, he was, the attorney was talking to the judge about trying to get out of this. Well, he wanted to push it all the way back to March of 2023 because he has another case that he was involved in, and it's in January 2023. And so it would conflict if he couldn't get it done in that time frame. She was giving him basically 2 months, October, November, blah, 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 kickoff in December. So he brought up the conflicting cases for him. I'm talking about the guy sitting right next to Darrell Brooks. They wanted out of it right away, but the judge said no. And I feel like Darrell thought at that moment that he don't want to represent me. I'll represent myself. I think, I don't know why she ain't taking this out on that lawyer. And who that other lawyer is sitting there doing dictation. What the heck is that? Sorry, I had to get her. There's 2 lawyers sitting there. And that girl been taking dictation the whole time. I don't trust that dude in the gray. Let me rephrase that. I don't trust the guy who's sitting next to Darrell. Sorry, he's too shady. I'd rather see Darrell represent himself. But I do want to note right away that I saw Darrell get aggravated and his face changed toward the judge one time. And it really does come to some kind of respect. You don't have to respect him because he's a criminal. How about just show a little respect for a human being? And when I say that, no, I don't think when Darrell didn't treat people as a human being, I know he didn't. But that doesn't have anything to do with how the judge should treat people. We all know the wise old world, don't we? Treat people how you want to be treated. Isn't that how it goes?
Yeah.
Well, that's what she needs to do. Because he hasn't acted up one time, and she's acted up plenty. But I do see him when he's, kind of, you can see him on the edge. It's because of her asking these questions like you're not a grown up. You know, she says in one breath he comprehends the English language and he doesn't have any disabilities, but then talks to him like he's a child. Who, I better get off here because I will talk all night about this. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, y'all have a good evening. It's 39 degrees, fair, clear weather. I didn't say that when I came on, but I want to end it when I go off. So, I'll be back here tomorrow night. You guys come visit with me. And if you have time before you go, hit the like button and subscribe and meet me here. Y'all have a great night.